What's up, guys? It's Nick with the 1 hour live stream session in the 3-person corner hybrid unit. So today we're gonna go through my normal sauna routine. We're gonna do a 1 hour live stream. Hopefully you guys drop in the chat any questions, comments, thoughts, just maybe tips and tricks that you use when you're trying to get the most out of your infrared sauna. So a couple things to start. I'm gonna preheat the unit to 100 degrees. And then I'm gonna get in right around that 100 to 110 mark, close to my core body temp. When I'm close to that core body temp, I can heat up with the unit. I'm gonna have it set to about 165 degrees, which is the max temp in that hybrid series. And then I'm gonna heat up with it, enjoy a 45-minute, hopefully an hour-long session, and then we can go from there. Thanks Renee and Alexis for joining in. Drop any questions in the chat down below. If you have a sauna, if you're looking for one, if you have any questions, more than happy to answer any of those, and hope you guys can enjoy my little 1 hour session. So I'm gonna start putting some towels down on the bench here. I'm gonna turn the unit on, and then we're gonna wait probably about 10 minutes here before it heats up. So turning it on, starting. At that ambient room temperature, so the unit is reading out. We'll take the guys over here. So the unit is reading out about 75 degrees right now, so the current room temperature. And then we have it set to, oops, we're falling. Have it set to 165 degrees. So we're getting it to the max temps. We're gonna get in around core body temp, so that 100 degrees, and then we're gonna heat up with it. And so now we're gonna start by putting towels on the bench. Alexis asked, why are you not letting it get to 165 and then getting in? That's a great question. And because infrared is a radiant heat, it's only heating about 20% of that ambient air. 80% of that heat gets 3 times deeper into the soft tissue muscle. So compared to the furnace style in the corner where it's gonna heat all that ambient air temperature up, that air temperature heats the surface of your body. It's a pretty abrasive feeling. You sit in for 20-ish minutes, typically like 15. So that high air temperature, that's what's causing you to sweat. You're really only heating the superficial level or the surface level, whereas the infrared, because that's raising your core temp, you wanna be in there the entire time the heaters are running, maximizing your infrared absorption. So that's a really good question, and a good way to maximize those health benefits is get in around your core body temp. You don't want to wait to let the unit get up to the 165 or the temperature you have it set to, because then what happens is the heating elements turn on and off to not exceed that set temperature or max temp. And so that's a really good question. We're gonna let it heat up. Shout out some local viewers here. And then we're gonna do 60-minute live stream infrared sauna session. So we're letting it heat up to 100, 110 degrees, close to that core body temp. And then we're gonna heat up with it. So just putting towels on the bench and the floor right now. That's really just gonna help absorb a lot of the sweat, longevity of the unit. Kicking the shoes off. So again, we're getting in around 100, 110 degrees. That's close to core body temp. And then we're gonna heat up with the unit for about a 45-hour-long session. If you guys use an infrared sauna, comment how many times a week, how'd you start using it? Do you use traditional saunas at the gym? What's kind of any tips, suggestions, your typical sauna protocol look like? And then one more on the floor. And everyone asks about the floor heater in the Good Health saunas, where people often ask, if I put that towel over it, am I blocking a lot of the infrared? For me, what you'll see I'm gonna do here is I typically put my feet on that floor heater for about 10, maybe 15 minutes. Once I start getting that good sweat going, that's when I'll just push the towel out about halfway under my heels, so any of the sweat dripping down my calves gets onto my heels, then onto the towel, and I can just take those towels out when we're done. Shout out everyone, thanks for joining the live stream. We're doing a 1 hour infrared sauna session in the Good Health Saunas Corner Hybrid unit. So if you use infrared saunas, if you haven't before, if you're curious about them, would love to see any comments, questions down below. And then we're letting it heat up to 100 degrees right now, close to that core body temp. And then we're gonna do that full 45-hour long session, hopefully. So I just put the towels on the bench and then on the floor. I've been hydrating throughout the day here, and I also have my water bottle that I'm bringing in the unit here. So we're gonna put this in there shortly. The unit's getting into the 90s, so we're gonna give it another couple minutes here, then we're gonna jump in and start the live session. So, good question. Does the sauna get stinky if you don't use towel coverage? Yes, saunas are gonna help absorb a lot of the sweat. All the Good Health saunas do come with an air purification unit, so that's an ionizer ozonator that runs the air through that electronic filter, ionizes it, helps kill off any of the bacteria, a little odorization, some sanitation as well. So towels do a majority of the heavy lifting. We always recommend putting them on the bench and on the floor. Take the damp towels out when you're done, and then you always have that ionizer ozonator to run a couple times a month if you'd like. And so, good question. Have you ever used an infrared sauna before? So, again, we're doing a 1 hour live stream infrared sauna session, corner hybrid, Good Health saunas, with the unit getting up to about 100 degrees when we're gonna start that session around your core body temp. So we got the towels on the bench and the floor. We're gonna jump in here shortly, and then we're gonna do a full 45-minute, hour-long session. So, would love to hear from you guys down in the comments below where you're watching in from. Alexis has used an infrared sauna before. Andy has not. Ben has also used an infrared sauna. Where are you guys using the infrared saunas at? You have one at your home? You use it at a gym, a spa? Are there any traditional saunas that you've used before? What are some kind of questions or comments that you have with infrared saunas? Andy's down in Phoenix. Shout out Phoenix, Arizona. They're a little warm right now, but the big thing the sauna is really beneficial for, circulatory, any aches, pains, the muscle relaxation, muscle recovery. Especially in those cold winter months. I don't know, up here in Wisconsin, it's seeming like this winter's dragging out. So how's the weather down there in Arizona? And then Deb is asking about the ionizer. So the ionizer is just an extra measure we take at Good Health Saunas. Runs the air through an electronic filter, ionizes it, kills off any of the bacteria, helps a little odorization, some sanitation. Infrared is a natural disinfectant. So when the unit is heating up, that is doing a little bit of cleaning itself. But that ionizer ozonator, if it's in a commercial setting where you got 10, 12 hours of runtime, you got 6 clients coming in back to back to back, you can run that ionizer in between sessions just to give that next customer a nice clean experience and feel. So good questions. Alexis uses the sauna at the gym. Ben uses his sauna at home. And that's where a lot of our customers realize when they have one in their own home, they're a lot more likely to use it. They're gonna get a lot more of those health benefits. And so excited to jump in for 45-minute, hour-long live session in the Good Health Saunas Corner Hybrid unit. And we're about 103 degrees right now. So we're gonna start taking some clothes off. Minimal clothing is best. We'll keep it PG obviously, but minimal clothing in the infrared so you can absorb all of those infrared heaters. The big thing, the big thing that we have here is 360 degree heat. So I don't know if you've ever used an infrared sauna before, but it's a little different than a traditional sauna where you have the one hot rock furnace. That's gonna heat all the air temperature up. Infrared, which you'll see in a second, is coming from all these heating elements wrapping around your body, and that's actually producing a non-visible light ray. That's what's getting about 1.5 inches into the soft tissue muscle. Explain the monthly use, please, on the ionizer. So if you have it in a residential setting, let's say it's just you and the significant other using the sauna, maybe run the ionizer once every 2 weeks. So twice a month would be typical use on the ionizer. You can run it more frequently if maybe you or the significant other has an illness or they're sick and they want to get in the sauna to help combat that. Then you can run it after their session. Like I said, just an extra measure that we take. Infrared does a lot of the natural infrared disinfectant, but that ionizer ozonator, you still have that. It's just an extra measure. And then as far as using the sauna consistently, I don't know if that's what you were referring to, but using an infrared sauna consistently is where you're going to see a lot more of those long-term health benefits. If you're only using it 3-4 times a month, it's just like if you go to the gym 3 or 4 times a month. Consistency beats intensity every day of the week. You're welcome, Deb. Or D. Gio, I don't know how to pronounce that, but you're welcome. Great questions. Do you have a Good Health Saunas, or are you kind of curious about just infrared saunas in general? So the unit's about 107 degrees. We're going to jump in here in a second. Hopefully Instagram allows the infrared sauna sessions. First time doing this, guys, let us know what comments, questions you have. You have one, that's awesome. Do you have a Good Health Saunas? And then I wear my jewelry in the infrared sauna. That's one of the nice parts because it's not conventional air temperature that's so hot. You can actually wear the jewelry, you can actually take a deep breath in there. So that's a big thing that I like using with the infrared compared to the traditional sauna or steam room. It's really abrasive on the body. It's that high air temperature. And so the infrared, I can enjoy it a lot more. I have the same energy coming out as I do going in. So we're gonna start the session. It's 110 degrees, so it's close to that core body temp. And that's when we're gonna start our session here and do about 45, maybe an hour long. So we're gonna change the camera angle here. Give us one quick second. We got the mic check. Oh, the DJI. We're getting in the sauna. Oh no, the DJI is gonna cause a little glare. So we're still getting good audio though. Let me know if the audio is good. Can we get an audio check on the chat? It's good. So we're gonna set the mic right here on the door handle. The unit, it's about 112. We're gonna start my watch here. So we're gonna start the workout app. There we go. And we're off. The 1 hour live sesh. Good audio. It's all good. Good. When do you guys typically like using an infrared sauna? I personally like using it in the evening. It helps me sleep a lot better. Now, don't get me wrong, I go through sessions, especially in those winter months, where it's one of the first things that I use in the morning. It's a great way to jumpstart the day, and Eric and I were on our podcast, and we filmed it today, and we were talking about just why some people will sweat more, and some people are going to sweat less in an infrared sauna, and I can already tell, like today's session, I'm going to sweat a ton, just because I'm talking to you guys, so that's getting a lot more of my blood flowing already. Excited, the adrenaline, and then we are obviously staying super hydrated. So that's one of the big things. I really like this hybrid series because you can stretch out, and so the unit's about 112 degrees. We're getting in close to that core body temp. You can set it for 60 minutes. We are keeping track of the time on our watch here, so we'll update you guys probably every 10 minutes or so, unless someone kind of asks for more. We can change the color lights in here. So this ionizer, this is what we were talking about earlier. You can run this once or twice a month. Maybe in a commercial setting, you're gonna run it a little bit more. You can have all 7 different light color settings. So right now we just have the reading light, no lights. Now we're back to the red lights. But you can change it and you have all 7 different light colors. Each one has different benefits. So when your eyes perceive certain colored lights, different chemical reactions occur. When the red, yellow, and green releases a lot more serotonin, dopamine, a little bit more of the happy hormones. Whereas like a blue, a violet, or a turquoise, more of that neuroepinephrine. So more of a calming sensation. Thanks, Ben, for joining. Lisa, thanks for joining. Do you guys use infrared saunas a lot? Have you ever used an infrared sauna before? Do you use traditional saunas? What's my favorite color? My favorite color is probably, I change it depending the time of day. I enjoy red in the morning, but then I definitely enjoy like a blue or a violet in the evening. It's kind of personal preference with that. I have sometimes where I won't have any of the lights and I'll just have the heating elements. I'll have the Bluetooth speakers going with audiobooks, podcasts, music, anything like that. Thanks, Will, for joining. Thanks, Lou. Thanks, Rob, for joining. Do you guys use saunas a lot? Have you ever used an infrared sauna before? I'm sitting in the Good Health Saunas corner hybrid unit. We're doing the 1-hour live session. We've only been in, we'll have to flip this around. We've only been in, is that right side up for you guys? 3 minutes? I don't think that is. We've only been in for 3 minutes so far. Heart rate is about 115, but that's a little elevated because we're excited, we're talking. Normally I'm just kind of relaxing, but that's one of the fun parts about the sauna. You can do it all different types. Andy, never used an infrared sauna. I used the steam and traditional sauna at the gym. That's awesome. Good you're using a sauna and sweating. How often do you use it, Andy? If I use it one time, will I get a benefit, or do I have to use it all the time? That's a great question. Consistency beats intensity. So if you're using it one time, you're probably not going to see or feel a lot of those benefits. You may feel a little bit more muscle relaxation, but if you want to feel those long-term health benefits, 3 to 4 times, 5 times, if not daily, is how you're going to get the most benefits. Just like going to the gym 3 times a month, you're not going to see or feel it. If you use the sauna 3 or 4 times a month, you're probably not going to feel it as much as if you used it 4 or 5 times daily. Andy uses one 3 to 4 times a week. That's good. That's really good, Andy. Have you ever thought about an infrared sauna before? Hammy, I've used a traditional sauna once and it made me claustrophobic, so I've not attempted the sauna again. Perhaps I would be able to breathe better in an infrared sauna. Seems pretty chill. Yes, you definitely can breathe a lot better in an infrared sauna, and that's because it's only heating 20% of the air temp. 80% of the heat coming from these infrared panels, that's what's getting about 1.5 inches from the soft tissue muscle. And so that's where you get a lot more of the muscle relaxation, muscle recovery, where I can actually take a deep breath in here. It's not drying out my eyes. It's not drying out my nose. You'll see here shortly I'm going to start sweating and profusely, and that's because it's raising my core temp. And so shout out Jeff for joining. Raising that core temperature is the main point of an infrared sauna. It's eliciting a fever-like response. It's kind of similar to if you've ever been super sick at night, you're sleeping throughout the night, you're sweating buckets in your sleep. That's your body's natural recovery mode. You're simulating that inside the sauna by raising your core temperature roughly 3.5 degrees. And so, D asked, is every day 45 minutes at 125 too much? No, you can use it daily. The main thing is you want to stay super hydrated. That's another thing that we were talking about on the podcast, which if you guys haven't checked out, the Sweat Fanatic podcast on YouTube is phenomenal for all things sweating, benefits with infrared saunas. And so daily, 45 minutes, 125, that's phenomenal as long as you're staying hydrated. That's the biggest thing. Hydration before, during, and after. It's kind of like a car gas engine. If you have it on E and then you get in the sauna, or if you have it halfway and you get in the sauna and you get down to E, it's going to take a lot longer and a lot more effort to get it back to full. Whereas if you get in the sauna and the gas tank's already 3/4 full, you get it down to halfway, a quarter, it's a lot easier to get it back up to full. So just making sure you're staying super hydrated, that's really the most important part with an infrared sauna. Nothing in here is going to burn you, hurt you, harm you any way, shape, or form. It's not like that traditional hot rock furnace that it's just heating the air temperature up. And so at the gym, when I use them every so often, it's 15 minutes, I'm running out of there, I'm blinking, I can't really breathe, my eyes and nose are agitated. So the infrared, with all these heating elements wrapping around my body, you can't see them, but there's floor heat, calf heaters, 2 front-facing heaters. There's not a spot in the sauna I can sit, I'm not getting the infrared heat. And so this is really nice because you have heaters all up along the back, shoulder area, same thing, opposite shoulder, hips. When I'm sitting here with my feet down, especially after like a long leg workout, it's really nice to have the infrared getting those lower extremities. And then when you start to sweat, which I'm kind of starting to now, you can really start detoxing the body. So thanks T for joining, Steve for joining. One Deontay joined as well. How's it going, guys? Do you use infrared saunas? We're in the Good Health Saunas 3-person corner hybrid series. We're doing a 1-hour live session in the sauna. It's running. It's about 120 degrees. We've been in for about 8 minutes. You guys have yet to tell me if that's looking proper on your screens or not. And we are starting to get a little sweat going. So that's what we are looking for today. Staying hydrated is super key. Where are you guys checking it? Where are you guys checking in from? I know Andy was in Arizona. Ben, I try to get in mine at 110 and normally sit in for 40 to 50 minutes. That's perfect, Ben. That is exactly how you want to do it. And a lot of people have the misconception because they've used like a traditional sauna or a steam room one time at a gym or a spa where they're feeling like they need to get in at that max temp. And I mean, you can, you're going to sweat, but when you get in and that temperature is already super, super hot, it's pretty abrasive on the body. You're really cutting your session in half because you can't stay in there longer than 15, 20 minutes. Whereas I'm going to do a 45-minute, hour-long session here, and you'll see I'm going to burn probably 200, 300, 400 calories. My heart rate's going to get up into the 140s, 150s by the end of it. And starting at a much lower temp allows me to sit in for a longer session, amplifying all those benefits that I would traditionally just get for 15 or 20 minutes. And the infrared, because it's coming from all these heating elements, getting about 1.5 inches from that soft tissue muscle, that's where it actually vasodilates blood vessels. So when you vasodilate blood vessels, that's allowing a lot more oxygenated blood to get to parts of the body that's not typically getting that adequate amount of blood flow. So if you have like circulatory issues, especially in those cold winter months, if your hands and feet ever get really cold, Hammy's in Minneapolis, Ben's in Wisconsin. Oh, I can't, I just tried to scroll up through the door. Did that yesterday too. But when you're vasodilating the blood vessels, that's like running all the blood in fire hoses compared to garden hoses. So actually you get a passive cardiovascular workout. So it's like I'm doing a 45-minute, hour-long workout on the treadmill, but I'm not going to be stiff and sore after. I'm actually going to feel really loose. Muscles are going to feel really relaxed. And so it's starting to heat up in here. It's about 128 degrees. What are some questions that you guys have as far as, are you looking for an infrared sauna? Do you use infrared saunas now? Where are you kind of checking in from? I know we've been all over. Sweat Fanatics out in San Diego, I'm jealous. We're up here in Wisconsin currently, where I don't know about you guys, but it's kind of been an extended winter where we're really waiting for this cold weather to break, and that's one of the big things that using a sauna consistently in an infrared sauna allows just a lot of that seasonal depression, mood stabilization,
ton of the happy hormones, the serotonins, the dopamines, tons and tons of health benefits. Alyssa, thanks for joining. Jeffrey is also down in Arizona. And so where the infrared really separates itself from the traditional for me is, like I said, the length of the sauna session. I could stay in here for 45 minutes, hour, compared to the 10, 20 minutes. I know, give it probably another 30 minutes or so and I'll be leaning over sweating buckets. But in that intermittent time, it's a lot less abrasive. I'm not rubbing my eyes, my nose isn't burning. That infrared heat coming from all these heating elements, and especially above the neck and shoulders, we're really starting to feel the muscles get loose, muscles are relaxing, and so that heart rate getting into 100, 110-ish. We've been in for about 12 minutes, so we are in for another about 40-ish minutes, hopefully, in the Good Health Sauna's 3-person corner hybrid series. And we have all 7 different light color settings, changing on the chromotherapy lighting. It's a full spectrum infrared sauna, so it's using near, mid, and far wavelengths. You can set it up to 165 degrees. I'm doing an hour-long session in the corner hybrid series here. So we're about 12 minutes in if you're just checking into the chat. Jones, thanks for joining. If you have any questions, drop them down below. If you guys use infrared saunas, let me know. Eric asked, why do I like the corner? The corner is one of my favorite units because exactly how I'm sitting right now. My legs are extended fully on this bench. I'm about 6'2", and so having the ability to fully stretch out, you'll see here shortly, I'm definitely going to start doing some actual stretching, but that's something that I like to do towards the tail end of my session, just because it allows me to sit in for a little bit longer. And so it's a little difficult to see right now, but I'm starting to get sweat all over my body, so you can start to see that glow that's coming from all the sweat, the pores opening up throughout my entire body. So it's not like in that traditional sauna. We are getting a sauna delivered on Friday. How long do most people start off in the sauna? That's a great question. We're excited for you. Sun on the Run 1424. Are you getting a Good Health Saunas, and which unit? I'd love to know. And typically customers start out about 20, 30 minutes up to about an hour. The big thing you missed a little earlier, I jumped in around 100 and 110 degrees. So that's close to the core body temp. Allows my body to heat up with the unit, and then I have it set to 165. I'm in the corner hybrid series, and so I got in around that core body temp, and I heated up. I'm heating up with the unit, and so right now it's only about 130 degrees. Give it another 20 or so minutes and it'll be getting up to those max temps. I'll really start getting that river sweat going. Right now, heart rate's about 115, so it's still in the upper hundreds, or a little bit over 100, where we're starting to get that passive cardiovascular workout. Like I said, I can really start feeling the infrared get into my soft tissue and like shoulders and neck area. And it's the Good Health Sauna's 2-person hybrid. That is in a phenomenal unit. And so you're going to love it. Like I said, start out 20, 30 minutes. Make sure you're drinking water before, during. Try and stay in for an hour. The goal is an hour. If you can get to that 45-minute hour mark, that's where you're really amplifying those cardiovascular benefits, that really, really deep cellular detox, pulling out the heavy metals, toxins, carcinogens. And then shout out JC. We've only had ours since December. Best investment. That's something that we hear all the time from our customers. It's one of the best investments they've ever made. They use it almost every single day. They wish they got it a lot sooner. So JC knows, excited for Sun on the Run. They're going to absolutely love their Good Health Sauna's 2-person hybrid. I'm sitting in the Good Health Sauna's 3-person hybrid. If you're just checking in, we're doing an hour-long live session. We're about 16 minutes in, so another 45 or so minutes left, where unit's about 130 degrees right now. You missed me jumping in around my core body temp, so around 100-ish degrees. Drinking water before, during, and after the session is really crucial. and we're gonna rock out the remainder of this hour-long live session. So shout out Linda for joining, Christy for joining as well. Where are you guys checking in from? Do you use infrared saunas a lot? Have you ever used one before? Let me know in the chat down below. We're in the corner hybrid 3-person unit. We were talking today on the podcast about hydration, kind of like I said before, during, and after. And then we started talking about electrolytes and kind of replenishing a lot of those minerals that you may not be getting in just traditional like water. And so that's something that I kind of like to explore. I don't have any in today. We're keeping it all natural with just water, and we're 15-20 minutes into an hour-long live session. And JC's asking, we keep our temp at 140 for 40 minutes. That's good. Yeah, that's phenomenal. Anywhere between 120 and 140, you're maximizing that infrared absorption. With the hybrid series, you can get it up to that 165. You can have it set to 165. Anywhere between 120 and 140, you're maximizing that infrared absorption. I have this corner hybrid series set to 165. I got in when it's about 100, 110 degrees, so close to that core body temp, 98.6. I'm heating up with the unit to make sure that all these heating elements are constantly running, compared to if I tried to let it, or set it to the 165 and then jumped in when it got there, then all those heating elements cycle on and off, so not always absorbing that infrared. And so yeah, 140 at 40 minutes, that's a phenomenal session. You're gonna get a lot of those health benefits. Do you typically use it in the morning or in the evening? I always like to ask. That's always one of my curious points, because consistency beats intensity, like we were talking about. Most people are like, I really don't have time to use it. But then when they start using it, build it into the schedule, use it the first 4 or 5 days when you get it. It's an addicting feeling in a good way. I'm seeing in the morning people like using it. We are in an evening session here, so we're doing it around 4 o'clock, which is something I know I'm going to feel a little bit later when I try and fall asleep. I'm going to be able to sleep a lot better, get a much deeper sleep, so not feeling, or I'll feel a lot more well rested that next day, a lot sharper, more alert. Just something that I notice throughout the day, not kind of like with some health products where I may feel good when I'm doing it or when I'm using it 5 or 10 minutes after. The sauna is something I notice throughout the day. If I use it in the morning, I'm still going to sleep better at night. If I use it at night, like I said, I'm going to sleep better, feel a lot more well rested that next day. So if you guys can see, we are really starting to get a sweat going now. Heart rate's still in the hundreds. We're about 20 minutes in, so we'll give you a little check-in here with the watch. Morning seems common in the chat when people are using it. That's pretty common. That's, like I said, typically when I use it, except for in those cold winter months, I do feel like I like using it in the evening. We use ours 3 to 5 days a week. That's phenomenal. That's love to hear that, JC. That's awesome. You're getting tons and tons of long-term health benefits, reducing your risk for cardiovascular issues, reducing your risk for Alzheimer's, dementia, and reducing your risk for almost all-cause mortality by consistently using an infrared sauna. And what's the tattoo? It's yin and yang, so you got to have a balance, just like everything. Balance, good, bad, fire, water, night, dark. The saunas help with just balancing out everything. So that's the one and only one we really got. Hey, Be Great, thanks for joining. Hey, YL, can't pronounce that, thanks for joining. Welcome to the 1 hour live stream in the Good Health Saunas Corner Hybrid Unit. We're doing a hour-long session with about 40-ish minutes remaining. We'll see if we make it the full hour. Drop in the chat how long you guys think we're going to make it in the Corner Hybrid series. Maybe we'll make it a contest. Whoever gets closest can get maybe a limited edition Good Health Saunas water bottle. Must like, subscribe, repost. Mr. K Coop, thanks for joining. Welcome to the Good Health Saunas 1 hour live stream. My name's Nick. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat down below. Tell me if you use an infrared sauna. Have you used one before? Have you thought about getting it? Where are you checking in from? This is the corner hybrid unit. I have all 7 different light color settings rotating on the chromotherapy lighting. We have heating elements wrapping around the entire body, as you can see a couple here. So really good as far as just muscle relaxation. I can really feel it in my neck and shoulders. My hips, I can start to feel just the muscles throughout my entire body are relaxing. I'm really starting to get that good sweat going. Heart rate still in the hundreds. You missed earlier, if you're just checking in from Mr. K Coop, absolutely love our sauna, best purchase ever, checking in from Maryland. That's awesome. When did you get it? How long have you had it for? I love Baltimore. Baltimore, Maryland, underrated seafood out there. I know it probably seems self-explanatory, but that is some of the best seafood I've had. Very cool area. Mr. K Coop is my husband. That is awesome. Does this go indoors? Yes, these are indoor infrared saunas from C. Hefner. What's up? We are in the Good Health Saunas 3-person corner hybrid. All infrared saunas should be indoors, no matter who you get one from. Infrared really struggles anywhere that gets below about 55 degrees. Now, let's say if it's in like a pretty well insulated kind of heated garage where maybe necessarily don't keep it all that warm, it's not going to necessarily hurt the unit, but just for overall performance, heat up time, we always recommend 55 degrees as rule of thumb. So most common spots, basement, spare bedroom, you can put it on carpet, hardwood, finished, unfinished flooring. Got it at the trade show in October. That's awesome. That is awesome. So you guys have had it for a while now. And I know the wife said she was loving it, so I'm assuming you are the same. Thanks for checking in to the 1 hour Good Health Saunas Corner Hybrid live stream. My name's Nick. If you're just checking in here, drop any comments. Ours is on carpet in our basement. Basement's the most common spot for sure. The home show at the Timonium, Maryland State Fairgrounds. That is, like I said, Baltimore, one of my favorite places as far as the food. Great people. So we love going out to the East Coast and going to the events. As you can see, some of our viewers have gotten their saunas at our events and absolutely love it. So check us out at goodhealthsaunas.com and the website, and you'll see where we're going to be. Or if you have any questions, you can always reach out. We're more than happy to answer any of those. And so this is about a 25-minute check-in on the Good Health Saunas 3-person corner hybrid. The unit is about 140 degrees right now. We are starting. Andy's looking to get a 2-person unit. That's awesome, Andy. Did you kind of have a spot you were thinking of putting it? Best seafood and crab cakes. Yes, I would agree. And Andy, most people put them in their basements. If you're in Arizona, I know basements maybe aren't all that common, but spare bedroom, you could even put it in the garage out there. But basements, probably the most common spot. They have the 2-person. JC has the 2-person out in Maryland, and that 2-person's phenomenal. It's got a 4x4 blueprint, so it's really space conscious, but it's a little hot rod for the amount of heaters that they have, and that's the most important thing. No matter who you're getting a sauna from, look at the heating elements. You want to have 360 degrees around the body, and then ask for safety certification testing. You want to make sure it's real lumber, not particle board, plywood, press board. So check that it has a good warranty from a reputable company. Those are really, really important things to consider no matter who you're getting an infrared sauna from. And I know a lot of them may look the same online. Just like everything, not all infrared saunas are created equal. I'm sure everyone's been to the gas station before and you see kind of the AirPods that look like AirPods. they're not going to have the sound quality, they're not going to have the longevity, and they're really not going to have the performance standard. So that's a big thing, especially when you're looking to invest any type of money. You want to make sure you're getting a safe, efficient, effective product. Andy, are all your units made with the same type of wood? We always for my friends and family, I always recommend going with the FSC certified Canadian hemlock, and I'll tell you why. So the hemlock, which is what I'm sitting in right now, it's a hyperallergenic lumber, so it doesn't have a high oil content. So if you use the one at the gym, I'm assuming it's cedar. As you know, when you go in there, that cedar sauna or that cedar aroma really hits you. Anyone with sensitive skin or allergies can get really impacted as far as just agitating the eyes, the nose, skin. So hemlock being hyperallergenic doesn't affect anyone with sensitive skin or allergies, as well as when it's heating up, it's not going to expand and contract as much, so not going to crack and warp. So really good for the longevity aspect. JC, we did our research, completely agree. You get what you pay for, 100%. Hemlock, how often should we can change the filter, and where do we order them from? That's a scent pack. If you're talking behind the essential oil tray or behind the ionizer here, that's just a scent pack. You really don't have to put one in. It just comes with like a citrus scent pack in it. If you wanted to, I believe, you can. Yes, love using the essential oils. You can find any like scent packs and just put it in kind of that filter behind. I personally, I'm not the type of person that has candles going in my house all the time, so that's where it looks like JC uses a lot of the essential oils, which is where I get a lot of the aromatherapy if I am gonna use any. Typically, like I said, I'm not big into the aromatherapy as much, but that's just a scent pack behind your ionizer. It comes with it. If you want to replace it, I will look you guys up, and we can always hook you up with some more scent packs too. Just DM me, and then I can get your info, and we can always get some sent out to you guys for checking in and being active in the chat here. Tata, Tina, thanks for joining. Welcome to the Good Health Saunas 1 hour live stream. We are 28 minutes in to this hour-long session in the Good Health Saunas Corner Hybrid. I think it's been pretty fun so far. Where are you guys watching from? Do you guys use infrared saunas a lot? I know Andy is thinking about one in Arizona. Andy, I would say once you get it, it's the smartest investment ever. I'm assuming if you're golfing down there, it'll add 20 yards to the swing. Just kidding. I'm just wishing I could be golfing up here in Wisconsin. But we are 30 minutes in to the hour-long session. We almost said 45, but how long do you guys think I can sit in the sauna for? I'm going to try and go for 45 minutes, at least 45 minutes up to an hour. Andy, JC says, Andy, do it. I agree. Have you kind of looked at them before, Andy, or is this kind of the first time you're seeing them? I'd be curious on that. Shout out Lakebound for joining. Welcome to the Good Health Saunas hour-long live stream. I'm sitting in the 3-person corner hybrid unit. We've been in for about 30 minutes. We got another 30 minutes left. Let me know down below where you guys are watching from if you have any questions. This is a 30-minute check-in. The heart rate's getting into the 120s now. Can someone let me know in the chat if this is proper or if this is backwards for you guys? Because I'd hate to keep doing that and it just not look right. But the big thing you're looking at is just the amount of heaters. You can see here 360 degrees, built-in floor heat. That towel that I was talking about earlier, I moved that probably over 5 minutes ago when I really started to sweat. Now what I'm going to do, because I'm like dripping sweat, is just really folding it over my heels. So now it's going to absorb any of the sweat coming off my chin, elbows, shoulders here. You'll see I'm just like glistening. Andy, I've been looking at them online for a couple weeks. It's upside down. Thank you, Eric. That's what we were worried about. It's like, okay. I don't know if there's a way to do that. we'll work on that. Andy's only been looking at them online for a couple weeks. Andy, that's, I know, a good place to start. Online, it's really kind of information overload, analysis paralysis. What I recommend you do is go to our website. If you're not already chatting with one of our representatives, they'd be more than happy to kind of walk you through, or I say we should jump on a virtual tour, and I can show you around our full facility, kind of give you the ins and the outs of the industry as far as what to look for, just no matter who you get one from. And obviously there are some other decent saunas out there. I would say nothing competes with this hybrid series as far as just heater quantity, quality, and then obviously the comfort of the actual unit itself. Super thick construction on the benches, walls, so it feels like it's going to last a lifetime, which is backed with that lifetime warranty. So it's really the last infrared sauna you're going to need. And if you scroll up in the comment section, you'll see a lot of our customers, it's one of the best investments they make. So where are you kind of sitting at with it, Andy? Would you be the only one using it, or were you kind of thinking just smaller blueprint in a small space? Yeah. And Mr. K. Coop says, I'm a bigger guy, and the wife and him fit very comfortably on a two-person. And that's the big thing. You can see them online. They make these kind of phone booth style ones. Anything smaller than about that 3.5 by 4 foot blueprint, it gets really kind of crammed in there, a little claustrophobic. But that two-person hybrid series, the 4x4 blueprint, perfect space for one person. You definitely have like elbow and shoulder room, so you don't want to get something where you're feeling like you're sitting on the middle seat on the airplane. Nobody likes doing that. Where even in this corner hybrid series, that's one of my favorite parts. I can stretch out, so I'm like 6 foot, 6'2". My legs are fully extended on the bench right now. And same thing, in this corner, if you have a corner in mind, I like it because I still have my legs stretched out this way, but then I have a full bench over here. So great for two people, can sit in here, you converse, a little bit more of a conversational style sauna with that big L-shaped bench, and then doesn't take up a ton of the space in your room too, because you can tuck it right into the corner. And so that two-person unit is still phenomenal with that 4x4 blueprint. It's 8 pieces. It all just buckle clips on the side and then plug and play. We're starting to sweat now. Heart rate is getting into the 130s. We've been in for about 30 minutes. Oh no. Watch pause for a second there. But we will continue on. 140s on the unit. We're in the corner hybrid Good Health Saunas. Hour-long live stream. Welcome if you were just checking in. What are some other aspects or questions you guys have about saunas? Sorry, I'm starting to stretch. I feel really good. I just cracked my back if you guys heard that too. But I'm going to actually start stretching too. I didn't use the sauna this morning because I don't like using it twice a day, but once a day, whether I use it in the morning or in the evening, it's one of my favorite parts of the day. I know, like I said earlier, I'm going to sleep a lot better tonight. I can already feel just muscle relaxation, neck, shoulders, and that infrared compared to the conventional style, that's what's coming from these heating elements. Everyone thinks infrared needs to be a red light, or those red light panels that everyone sees. The issue with those is red light therapy doesn't produce any heat, and so you're still getting superficial benefits like sunspots, scar tissue, but what's coming from these heating elements is that non-visible light ray. So it's a radiant heat, and that's what's actually getting about 1.5 inches into the soft tissue muscle. They enjoy the Bluetooth speakers. Yes, Bluetooth speakers, audiobooks, podcasts, music. I was thinking about that earlier when I was planning the session. I was like, if it goes boring, I'll just have you guys suggest songs. We'll just jam out. But looks like JC, we also have Apple Watches. What are you setting yours to when you're in the sauna? So I actually have a custom app. You can make a custom workout, not a custom app, sorry, a custom workout on your fitness app, which is the standard iPhone fitness app. And so you can make a custom workout. We actually have it where I'll drop the QR code, or I'll have our team get that link sent over to you guys. We'll DM you the link so you can download that, or just download the workout. So then it should come up as an other workout on your or on your Apple Watch. So then when I start mine, instead of like selecting running, cycling, rowing, I just select other, and then it knows that I want to track. What are we tracking here? We are tracking the heart rate, calorie burn, and then the time. And so heart rate's in the 130s right now. Calorie burn is about 220 active calories. And the warranty, that's a good question. Lifetime warranty, everything that keeps it operational. So lifetime on the heaters, the power supply, the control panel, the chromotherapy lighting. So that's on everything that keeps it operational. That's something you're not going to see in a lot of those lower quality units. Maybe a 1-2 year warranty, and that's just because they're not designed to last and not built for sustainability. And so that's what all of our Good Health saunas, real lumber, 360-degree heating elements, not like plywood benches or particle board backs that are going to warp and crack over time. It's all real lumber, third-party safety certification and testing, thousands of 5-star reviews on all the major platforms, Google, Facebook. Shout out Ashley for joining. Getting mine delivered tomorrow. Recently had a back injury, so you think this will help. This is going to be one of your best tools for recovery. SLS Smith. So this is going to be one of your best recovery tools, because that infrared is actually getting down to that cellular level. So helping repair damaged DNA. Vasodilation of the blood vessels allows more oxygenated blood to get to parts of the body that's not typically getting that adequate amount of blood flow. So we're sweating real good now, as you can see. Hair is pretty much drenched, dripping from all over. Is there any concern with the heat of the sauna on your watch battery? I mean, for me, it's just like if I were to leave it in a car on a hot summer day, it's designed to, if it gets too hot, it's going to turn itself off. And that's where, like in a traditional sauna where it's just heating that air temperature up, that's where you're more likely to cause some damage. Whereas the infrared, because most of it's getting heated into your body, you're really not heating the watch as much necessarily. So I don't have any concern. Like I said, it's kind of designed, if it does get too hot, it just turns itself off. If you have concerns with it, I wouldn't say you need to bring it in, but most customers aren't too worried about it. Oh, JC's about to start their sauna session. That's awesome. Awesome. Yes. With that back injury, because of the amount of heaters, and you'll see, depending, or no matter which one you get, it has heating elements all the way up, neck, shoulders, 360 degrees around the front. Which one did you end up getting, Miss Smith? Or Smith? Shout out Isaac. Shout out Kingdom. Amjoy. Thanks for joining. Welcome to the Good Health Saunas Corner Hybrid 1-hour live stream. Drop in the comments down below where you're viewing from if you have any questions. We're 37 minutes into an hour-long session, so we're going to really push it for these last 20 minutes. This is when I can start feeling that ample cardiovascular benefit. Heart rate's up into the 135s now. So it's like doing a brisk workout. Whereas you'll see at the end here, we're hoping to really get that heart rate up into the 140s, 150s, amplify those cardiovascular benefits. But that's because I can sit in for a longer session compared to that traditional sauna, where if I'd be in there for 37 minutes, I would have been kicking the door down 20 minutes ago. That high abrasive air temperature agitates the eyes, makes it difficult to breathe, whereas the infrared, I'm sweating profusely throughout my entire body, but it's not that suffocating type feeling. I can actually take a deep breath. So that's why heart conditions, or patients with heart conditions, have to be a little careful in traditional saunas or steam rooms, where they can actually get a lot of the benefits and enjoy an infrared sauna because it's not that high abrasive air temperature. Shout out JP Designs for joining. Shelly, thanks for joining. Dang, you really are sweating. We are sweating buckets. That's the whole point. We're really, now that we're starting to sweat, now is when we're amplifying that detox. So heavy metals, toxins, carcinogens that get built up and stored in our system. Sweating is the most efficient, the most effective way to get them all out. So staying super hydrated is really key. You're going to notice you're going to want to drink water before, during, and after. We're about 40 minutes in, going to really push it these last 15-20 minutes. Amplify, like I said, those cardiovascular benefits. Now is when we get that detoxification, like I said, pulling out the heavy metals, toxins, carcinogens. Where are you guys watching from? Have you used an infrared sauna before? Drop it down in the chat below. Andy's looking for one out there. If you have a Good Health Saunas, tell Andy he should get one. It's one of the best investments he's going to make. He'll use it almost every single day, and then he'll wish he did it a lot sooner. So if you guys have a Good Health Saunas, let me know which unit you have down below, how often you like using it. Do you use it in the morning, in the evening? We're in the corner hybrid 3-person unit. It's about 146 in here right now. We have roughly 20 minutes left on our 60-minute sauna session. So we scheduled it up for an hour-long live. We'll see how long this hour-long live goes. If production team comes over here and tells me to wrap it up, we'll wrap it up. But we'll keep going. Welcome to the hour-long live stream. I'm sitting in corner hybrid. I got in the unit about 100 to 110 degrees. So that's key because that's close to my core body temp. So around a 98.6, that's when you can get in the unit, and that way you're guaranteeing the heaters are running. And that's, just let me know. There's a 5-minute timer left, but nice thing is control panels on the inside. I can set it for another, let's go 20 minutes and go from there. So it's about 146 in here right now. I can really feel that floor heat, the calf. That's really loosening up a lot of my Achilles, my feet. Like I said, my neck and shoulders, I started to feel that immediately just with the amount of heaters in here. It's hard to stay in there for an hour, let alone talk the entire time. Yes, I think we need some props for that. Normally we don't do a full live in the sauna, but you'll see we're trying it out. And let me know if you guys like it down below. Should we continue on? Do you want to see any other types of lives? Should we do when we're live at the shows? Should we do live podcasts? Amjoy is in Virginia. I love it during my spa treatments monthly. Do you use a Good Health Saunas? Or do you use our traditional type of sauna, Joy? JC has rheumatoid arthritis, and it helps with her inflammation tremendously. That's one of the big benefits we hear. Any aches, pains, arthritis, inflammation. That infrared, a lot less abrasive, a lot more beneficial, getting into that soft tissue muscle. Now we're starting to get relaxed, so you might see session vibes. We're getting that heart rate, but mood stabilization, like I said, really amplifying the cardiovascular benefits. Where else do you guys use the saunas at? Joy uses them at her spa retreats. Do you guys consider using them anywhere else? My hair looks crazy. There's no really good way to do this. I have rheumatoid. Oh, here we go. That. Welcome. This is the corner hybrid. Should we have some different lights? We've had the cycles on for a while. Let's see. No, we got it. We're back. There we go. We got to just keep the cycles on. I think people like the cycled lights. But let me know what other questions you guys have. If you have a sauna, if you're thinking about getting one. I wish you guys could see how much I'm sweating right now. But it's a little difficult through the screen. We're working on that. So check in. We're going to do one next week too. Tuesday, 4 o'clock. Drop down in the comments or DM us any questions you want us to go over. If you have any tips and tricks you want us to try, I think that might be a new segment. If there's some sauna protocol that you really like to enjoy, we might try and incorporate that into these live streams. So it's an hour-long live. We got plenty of ideas. We're in the Good Health Saunas, 3-person corner hybrid, and we're about 45 minutes in. Hey, A Daily, thanks for joining. Welcome to the live stream in the Good Health Sauna's corner hybrid unit. We're about 45 minutes into an hour-long session. We were dropping in the chat, any questions? What are the benefits of cycling the lights versus one color the whole session? I rarely have it on the cycle mode. I kind of like doing it for the lives because it keeps me entertained and involved, whereas when you have different colors or just one monotone color, that's when you're really amplifying just that chemical reaction in the brain. For example, like red, a lot more of that serotonin, a lot of dopamine. It's similar to mood lighting, whereas the big benefit and the real workhorse of the infrared system is actually these heating elements. So the chromotherapy lighting has benefits. When it's cycling through the different colors, you're getting different chemical reactions throughout the brain. If you want to have it set to one specific color, if you guys have ever been on the plane at night where you know it's always blue lighting running, everyone's a little more calmer. Whereas compared to if it had red lights, everyone would be freaking out a little bit. So similar premise to that, whereas like I said, the workhorse is those heating elements. That's producing the deepest penetrating wavelength, most therapeutic, gets about 1.5 inches of that soft tissue muscle. So what color do you use the most? I think I was talking about that earlier. I use red predominantly the most in the morning, and then like a blue or a violet in the evening. I like using red. It makes me feel a little more alert, more awake, more energized, whereas that blue, the violet, feels like more neuroepinephrine, so I'm getting that calming sensation. So I like using that in the evening, and personal preference with that, I was saying earlier, I've sat in it before, no lights, just the heating elements. There are customers that will just sit in it with the lights. That's totally up to you. And the nice part, once you get it in your own home, you can use it a lot more consistently, customize it to how you feel and how you're going to get the most out of your sauna. We're running out of water here. Okay, now we're 45 minutes in. Heart rate, I don't know if this is still not going to be right, but in the 140s. So like I said, that's what we were looking to get. That I'm not entirely sure if that's like, where's Jordan Robbie? It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Jordan Robbie, I believe. But the physical trainer, I think that's where we're always looking to get in like the phase 2 heart, where you're getting that passive cardiovascular workout anywhere above like the 120s, 130s. That's when you simulate that passive cardiovascular. So it's like I'm doing a 45-hour-long workout on the treadmill, but it's not putting any of the wear and tear in my joints or muscles. I actually feel really loose. That's probably why I keep moving around my neck, shoulders. So I like stretching out. You'll see just how spacious this unit is. As far as I'm 6'2", and still have plenty enough room to stretch my arms out. This corner unit's nice because you can go both ways without having to rotate your body. So I always say my muscles never feel looser than when I'm in the sauna. And genuinely, I know, Andy, if you're still out there, if you're in Arizona golfing, it did add yards to my drive. But now we're going to hit just a one-legged just stretch. If you can see, I'm just dripping. We got to get this angle figured out where you guys are getting much clearer. Shout out Maddie, thanks for joining the 1 hour Good Health Saunas live stream in the corner hybrid. We're 45 minutes in, so we're just at the tail end here. Let me know in the chat down below where you're watching from. Have you used an infrared sauna before? Are you thinking about getting one? If you are, where have you looked at before? Is this the first time you're seeing a Good Health Saunas unit? We're hitting open light stretch right now with the chat, and I don't know if that's good or not, but we'll have to figure that out. We're learning as we go. Okay, the last 10 minutes that's when it gets tough to talk, peeps. So, shout out Katie down in the chat. Welcome. You're just catching the tail end of this hour-long session, so you're about to see me on the struggle bus here. But this is where you're really amplifying those benefits, people. That's what I try and tell everyone. When you're in that, not like uncomfortable heat, but when you're really getting your body to naturally sweat, raising that core temp, getting that passive cardiovascular workout, that's when you can start to see and feel those health benefits. So we're going to push it for another 5 or so minutes here. But hope you guys are enjoying. We're in the struggle bus. As we see, that might be the new term. The last 10 minutes of your session, you're on the struggle bus. But when you get out, you immediately wish you stayed in for another 2 minutes. So you got to keep reminding yourself that if it was easy, everyone would do it, as we always say. So we are sweating. Heart rate's in the 140s. We're out of water, but that's okay. We can do it for 12 minutes. Chat is leaving me, but it was a good session. Like I said, the muscle relaxation off the charts. Thanks to those who joined. Thanks to those who have a Good Health Saunas and shared your experience. We really love seeing that. If you're still curious about one, like I said, drop down in the comments below. We'd love to walk through options and figure out if we'd even be a good fit, figure out which unit is going to work best for you. And then, obviously, we're running our spring promotion right now. So if you're in between infrared saunas and you're just looking for a good time, it doesn't get any better than this. In between, like I said, kind of our big sales season between home shows and state fairs, where it's a great time to take advantage of in-stock units. Additional incentives before seasonal demand causes increased lead times, prices just from manufacturing and lumber. So more than happy to walk you guys through the options. Amy Joy says, always worth it. Thank you, Amy. You're helping me get through these last couple minutes here. Appreciate it. Well, we are on the struggle bus with the last of you guys in the chat here. It was a good session, I think. Let me know if you want to see anything different, what you thought went well, what you thought we could do better next time, any new or fun ideas too. Always love to hear it. And for those that didn't get to see it, we will be back next week, 4 o'clock, Tuesday night, same time, same deal, different sauna. We'll see if it's different size, different company, different type. We'll kind of play around with that. If you guys have any suggestions, send them over, drop them in the chat. We're pushing it. Oh, 145 on the heart rate. No water. Minimal water. Production is coming over. I think they're going to kick me out. What?
Do you want to be free?
I mean, give me I can do 4 more minutes. Let me get till 55. The struggle bus is real. Welcome. Welcome, Suzanne. You're just catching the tail end of this sauna session. We're on what we call the struggle bus right now, but that's when we're really amplifying those health benefits. So, last couple minutes here. Heart rates in the 140s, probably in the 150s. Calorie burn, look at that second tier, 413 with the heart rate in the 150s too. That's what you're looking for in a sauna session, people. Or if you don't want to set it that hot, you don't have to either. That's the nice part. It's a digital control panel. You can set it 120, 130, where I know people that just get in it for the circulatory benefits. They may necessarily not like to sweat buckets, but those 20, 30 minutes in there at a lower temp, you're still getting a lot of muscle relaxation, still a lot of benefits too. So we're wrapping this session up. My watch paused, so I think that's in due time. Until next week, Tuesday, guys, check us out on Instagram, TikTok, our website, goodhealthsaunas.com. If you have any questions, drop them down below, DM us. We'll be here next week for another hour-long live session. Until then, peace. Keep sweating.